The honourable member for Richmond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I earlier asked a question to the Minister of Health regarding the policies and procedures used by her department regarding the East Coast Forensic Facility when a patient fails to return after they've been given a pass. I believe the Minister has indicated to us the protocols of notifying the police within 15 minutes when the patient does not return, and that there's a 72-hour notification policy to the public if the patient fails to return. I'm just wondering, with the case that we are referring to today, if the Minister of Health could advise us if she is aware whether this was the first time this patient failed to return after being given an escorted day pass.
The Honourable Minister of Health and Wellness.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I'm aware that this patient has had numerous passes in the close to a year that she has been in the forensic hospital. I understand that on numerous occasions she has met the conditions of her leave, and I'm also aware that she hasn't always met the conditions of her leave.
The honourable member for Richmond on his first supplementary.
Well, Mr. Speaker, in the interest of full disclosure, allow me to assist the Minister in the matter of the Nova Scotia Review Board regarding the patient in question, which is dated on January 25th, 2012. It indicates that the patient returned to the hospital on her own accord on November 2nd, having been AWOL for several weeks. She reported that she had spent some time in Dartmouth and then traveled to Montreal and Edmonton. Mr. Speaker, Halifax Regional Police are now reporting that the patient is believed to be in the province of Quebec. In light of this not having been the first incident, in light of the fact that the AWOL last time was for several weeks, would the Minister of Health explain to us why she waited 72 hours before informing the public that this patient had failed to return yet again?
The Honourable Minister of Health and Wellness.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Well, Mr. Speaker, as I indicated, this patient has been in the forensic hospital for almost a year, has had multiple leaves from the hospital in the past, and the member would know, because he has the documentation, he would know that on many occasions the patient has returned, and in other occasions the patient did not return. The decisions to notify the public are made by the treating psychiatrist and the nurses in consultation with the police. There are protocols in place, and those protocols were followed, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Richmond on his final supplementary.
Mr. Speaker, it's unfortunate, rather than having full disclosure, that we're having to pick apart the story day by day as more information is being made available. We were led to believe, based on the Minister's responses, that this was a first-time offence and that standard protocols were being followed. Now we have an actual hearing in front of us, which the actual decision which tells us that this was not the first time. In fact, it tells us that the last time this happened was for several weeks, and that in fact the patient traveled outside the province, in fact to the other side of the country. One would expect that Nova Scotians should be made aware of this, and that the department would have tried to find ways of alerting the public immediately in the hopes that the patient would remain inside the province and be able to return to the facility for care. So in light of all of the information that we now have in this case, does the Minister still believe that waiting 72 hours before informing the public of this incident was a wise and prudent public safety decision?
The Honourable Minister of Health and Wellness.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, as I indicated earlier, we have procedures in place to alert the public after an individual has been away for 72 hours. There is the the ability for the medical staff who know the individuals in consultation with the police to initiate an earlier notification to the public if they believe that the individual poses any significant risk to the public. These are decisions that are made by the nurses and doctors in the forensic service of the province in consultation with the police.